In a dramatic and electrifying NBA showdown that turned into a full-scale offensive exhibition, the Miami Heat outgunned the Washington Wizards 152-136 in a game that will be remembered as one of the highest-scoring battles of the season, where defensive structure was repeatedly dismantled by relentless pace, elite shooting stretches, transition surges, and a near-constant exchange of scoring runs that kept fans on edge from the opening tip to the final buzzer, as both teams combined for a basketball spectacle defined more by firepower than restraint, with Miami ultimately finding just enough composure, depth, and late-game execution to pull away in the final minutes after nearly 3/4 of back-and-forth scoring chaos that saw neither side fully able to contain the other's offensive rhythm, and where individual performances on both sides shined brightly even as defensive breakdowns and fatigue shaped the narrative of the night, transforming the contest into a showcase of modern NBA pace and space basketball pushed to its extreme limits. From the opening possession, it became clear that the game would not follow a traditional script, as Miami immediately pushed the tempo through quick outlet passes, aggressive perimeter spacing, and early pick-and-roll actions designed to exploit Washington's slow defensive rotations, while the Wizards responded with their own fast-paced attacks centered on early shot clock opportunities, driving lanes, and transition threes that kept them within striking distance almost instantly, setting the tone for what would become a relentless scoring duel where stops were rare and momentum swung like a pendulum every few possessions. And as the first quarter unfolded, both teams traded baskets with remarkable efficiency, with Miami's guards slicing into the paint with precision while Washington countered with hot perimeter shooting and aggressive drives that forced the Heat to constantly adjust their defensive coverages. As the second quarter began, the pace only intensified rather than slowing down, with Miami's bench unit injecting energy through defensive pressure that created turnovers and transition opportunities, allowing the Heat to briefly build a small cushion. But Washington's offensive response was immediate and emphatic, as their perimeter shooters found rhythm and their ball movement created open looks that repeatedly punished Miami's defensive rotations, leading to a series of extended scoring runs that saw both teams surpass expectations for offensive efficiency, and the game quickly evolved into a showcase of shot-making, with contested jumpers falling, transition layups converting under pressure, and occasional highlight plays sparking crowd reactions that matched the intensity on the court. While coaching adjustments from both sidelines focused more on managing tempo and rotations than attempting to fully shut down the opposing offense, as neither defense could consistently hold firm against the opposing attack. By halftime, the scoreboard already reflected an unusually high-scoring contest, with both teams well above typical first-half scoring averages, and yet neither side appeared satisfied or comfortable, as Miami emphasized attacking mismatches in the paint and pushing the ball after every defensive rebound, while Washington leaned heavily on quick trigger shooting and aggressive guard play to maintain pace. And the statistical balance of the game illustrated just how evenly matched the offensive output had become, despite Miami holding a slight edge in efficiency and transition scoring, while Washington's reliance on perimeter accuracy kept them within reach. And as players headed into the locker rooms, there was a shared understanding that defensive adjustments alone would not be enough. The game would ultimately be decided by which team could sustain its offensive rhythm deeper into the second half. The third quarter opened with Miami attempting to impose structure through half-court sets, emphasizing pick-and-roll execution and interior scoring, and this adjustment briefly gave the Heat an advantage as they attacked Washington's interior defense with more discipline, drawing fouls and converting at the free throw line while also finding open shooters on kickouts. But Washington once again responded with resilience, as their guards pushed the tempo and refused to allow Miami to settle into a controlled rhythm, instead turning defensive rebounds into quick transition opportunities that reignited their scoring surge, and the game once again became a track meet, with both teams trading baskets possession after possession, neither able to string together consecutive defensive stops, and as fatigue began to set in, the offensive execution paradoxically remained sharp, suggesting that both teams had fully committed to an all-out scoring battle rather than a defensive grind. As the fourth quarter arrived, the game reached its peak intensity, with the score tightly contested and momentum still shifting unpredictably, and Miami began to show signs of strategic maturity that ultimately defined the outcome, as their rotation tightened, decision-making improved, and key players stepped forward to control possessions during critical stretches, while Washington, though still scoring at a strong pace, began to struggle with shot selection and defensive transition coverage, allowing Miami to capitalize on second-chance opportunities and fast-break chances that slowly widened the gap, And it was in these final minutes that the Heat's depth and composure became the deciding factor, as their ability to maintain offensive pressure while generating crucial defensive stops finally created separation on the scoreboard. Miami's offensive explosion throughout the game was anchored by a combination of aggressive driving, efficient perimeter shooting, and unselfish ball movement, as multiple players contributed double-digit scoring performances, with star players leading the charge through high-volume scoring and clutch shot-making, while role players provided essential spacing and transition finishing that kept Washington's defense stretched and vulnerable. And on the other side, the Wizards delivered one of their most productive offensive performances of the season, fueled by fast-paced guard play, strong perimeter shooting stretches,